Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, we're doing part 9 of my 2016 Q&A series. As I always say, you guys asked me a ton of questions, and I'm still working my way through them. Hopefully I answer yours. If I haven't yet, maybe I will soon. I'm just going to keep going until I get them all done. If that ever happens, we'll see. So let's just jump right in it. The first question comes from David Aged. What is your favorite Marvel legend? Well, David, you're going to have to wait and see because I have a top 10 series coming out soon. And some of those top 10s may be Marvel Legends, so stick around for that. Christopher Arizmendi. Also, if I messed your guys' names up, I'm sorry. Sorry. What is your favorite show? I watch a lot of TV shows, including anime and other things like that. I have a lot of shows that I like a lot. I would say I really like the show Suits, I really like the show Supernatural, and I really like the show Person of Interest. If we're just going to count American television, that's what we're going to do. If you want to count international stuff and everything I've ever watched, not counting anime, I would include the Korean show City Hunter. That was a really good show, and also the Korean show Freeze or Stop, You're All Surrounded. I'm not sure about the title. It's been a while since I've seen it. Something like that. Both very good shows. I like a lot of Korean TV, surprisingly, but those are all good shows, so those. Also, there's a Canadian show called Murdoch Mysteries. That show's pretty good. Not like my favorite or anything, but I like that. There's also one called Republic of Doyle. That's entertaining, but not my favorite. Okay, moving on. Rodimus asks basically the same question the other person asked about Marvel Legends, but his is about Play Arts Kai. What's my favorite? Stick around. Top 10. Maybe going to include Play Arts Kai. SpiderBat101 asks, what's your favorite Batman figure? It's a good question. I think right now I'm leaning toward the DC SH blue and gray Batman. I really enjoy that figure. I like it just because it's kind of classic and simplistic, but still has a lot of detail. So probably that one, I think. I'm not sure. I have a bunch of Batman figures. I like that one. I really like the Sparta Batman. That's Play Arts Kai, but it's such an odd type of figure. It doesn't really count. I don't know. Maybe that one. Impossible Pie, longtime viewer, thanks for the continued support, really do appreciate it. Similar question to one somebody asked in the other video, have I ever been approached by toy companies, Mattel, Hasbro, etc., to help create figures in any way? See Q&A 8. I answered that specifically in the other video, so if you didn't see that one, go back and see it now. Devin Benson, do you prefer original figures or variant style figures? I prefer original. For instance, like a lot of the old figure series used to come out with like Splash Attack Spider-Man or Ninja Wolverine, things like that. I don't really care for that as much. I like the characters the way they're supposed to look. Now, that's not to say I won't buy something like that, like for instance the Play Arts Kai variants or the Sparta Batman or whatever. If they're done right, it can be a really cool thing, so I'm not against them. I just prefer, generally I'm a P1 kind of guy. That's a gaming term, Google it if you're not familiar. Ricardo Rios, if you were an anime character, who would it be and why? Good question. There's so many cool anime characters. I might go cliche and say Goku, but that's just because he's basically unlimited in his power. So that's kind of awesome. And he fights, so that's kind of cool. I like that. I kind of like Shizuo from Durarara. That's a good one too. But it might just be because I'm watching that. Or Natsu from Fairy Tail. Or there's so many. Basically any main character from any of the main anime, I might pick that one. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't answer that better. Brian Fiedler asks, who was the person, I'm going to censor his comment, that turned you on to dumb Bandai products, keeping you from reviewing the clearly superior Mattel and Hasbro toy lines? He's being sarcastic, and that's because he was one of the main people that I talked to before I started buying the import figures. I don't know if you guys remember, if you were around this long, thanks for sticking around, but when I went to Comic-Con the first time, I was shooting some video of the Play Art or SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z figures, talking about them, saying they're too expensive. I'm never going to get into the imports. I didn't have any at that point, and now, a few years later, I have like everything ever made. So he was one of the most strong deciding factors, and that's why he's asking that question in me getting those figures. And I'm happy I did. They are some of the best figures I have in general. He also had another question he wanted me to answer, which was, do I ever look back at my old artwork, like my old customs? And if I do, how do I feel about them? Because obviously I've developed my skills since I started. And I do. Occasionally I'll like look through, or I'll notice a figure somebody posted a picture of or something like that, and I think, wow, I could do that differently now. That's not good, or I don't like that, or I wish I never did that. But at the same time, as I'm seeing all the things that are wrong with these figures or that I would do differently, I think it's part of the learning curve. When you start out to do any sort of art, or really anything, it's not going to be as good as it is when you've got some experience under your belt. There's no substitute for experience. So I don't get down or anything like that. I'll see something and I'll be like, that, by my standards now, that sucks. Like, if somebody showed me that now and it wasn't mine, I'd be like, that person doesn't know what they're doing. But I didn't. So that's to be expected. So I think that's okay. And that's something you guys should keep in mind if you're doing art or anything, really, and you're just starting out and it's not going well. That's part of the process. It's not going to go well. I mean, you might be decent at it. Like, I mean, I was decent when I started. It wasn't good by my standards now, and you won't be. You're always going to get better. So just know that that's part of it and expect it and keep going. Keep at it, and you'll end up being good at what you want to do, assuming you have enough natural skill and enough desire and effort you're willing to put forward. These always get so lofty, abstract ideas of effort and things like that. I'm sorry. I should keep it real. Guilty Assassin Gaming, thanks for the question. You're a pretty regular viewer, so I appreciate that. What's the origin story of the cats? See video 8, Q&A video 8. I talk about it specifically there. Mark Glaviana. Mark, I've talked to you a few times. I probably pronounced your name wrong. I apologize. Your question is, do you ever make custom figures for your own collection? If you do, have you thought of showing them off on your channel? If not, why not? Do you just get burnt out of making them or whatever? I don't. And the reason I don't is because I make them for a living. So even if I did want to make it for myself, that's time that I'm not getting paid. So if I'm not getting paid, I don't have money to eat or live or whatever. So I don't have time really. And for me, there's a little bit of a weirdness to making art for yourself. Would I love to do it? Like, do I like a lot of the figures I make? Would I like to have them in my collection? Yes. But at the same time, I'm thinking it's weird. Like, I don't think most painters are going to paint something and then put it on their wall. Maybe they, I don't think they do. I don't know. It's weird. Any of you out there that's an artist, you might be able to relate a little bit more. It's just odd for me to want to create my own or keep my own art. I don't know. I want it, and at the same time I don't. It's kind of odd. Hopefully, at least somebody out there understands what I'm getting at. Brandon Arevalo, what do you do for a living that allows you to purchase all these expensive action figures? This is what I do for a living. I make action figures and I do YouTube stuff. So I don't have a lot of money at all. I just spend it wisely and spend it sparingly and look out for deals and that kind of thing. I don't go out. I don't spend money on booze and stuff like that. So I have enough to get what I need and to live and to have a happy enough life, but that's it. This is what I do. I don't make a lot by any means. See my pandering to your audience video. But yeah, this is it. Fire Team Smoke asks, are you gonna finish Akuma? Which he's referring to my statue, my large Akuma statue. It's probably gonna be like this when it's done. Eventually, kind of like the other question, I don't get paid to work on stuff for myself, so I have to spend my time, as also mentioned in the other question, making money, because I don't make much. So if I spend a whole bunch of time like I already did when I shouldn't have on that statue originally, I won't be able to eat. So I'll finish it eventually. There's still a lot of work to do on it. But as of right now, it's on hiatus, just because, like I said, I don't get paid to make it. I could sell it, but here's the thing. I've already poured like 100 hours worth of work into it, and it's going to take that much more to finish it, at least. So 200 hours worth of work, it's unlikely I'm going to be able to sell it for anything that makes me happy at that point. So, like I said, money I have to balance it out somehow. Super French Robot, bonjour. Is collecting action figures something you started when you were a kid, or was it a hobby you took up as an adult? How long have you been collecting? Well, I've talked about that a few times, so hopefully I've answered that already, but I did collect stuff as a kid that my parents got me for my birthday or Christmas or whatever, so I did always kind of collect action figures, but then I stopped for a long time, and then kind of picked it back up in college when I started customizing and reviewing. They kind of led me back into collecting. So kind of lifelong, but also not. Chevelle 4x4 asks, where can a fella find a zip-up hoodie like the royal blue one that I'm wearing in the video that he's commenting on and that I've worn a lot of videos? He can never find one in that color. I think I got that from Hanes.com. It was like $12. I got a bunch of different colors. I was going to wear only blue forever. It happened to be a hoodie for those videos because it was wintertime, and my color scheme is generally blue, but then I decided that's a dumb idea. So now I wear whatever I have on at the time. But yeah, I think Hanes.com. It might have been JCPenney's, but I think Hanes.com. Yeah. $12 hoodie, and it's a pretty decent one too. It was on sale, but still, there you go. Good luck. They have a lot of colors. Shin Shun, do you watch anime, read manga, and play Japanese games translated or not? And also, do you understand Japanese even if just a little? The answer is yes, I watch anime. No, I don't read manga. And do I play Japanese games? If I happen to. It's not like I try to or not. If there's a game I want to play, I'll play it. If there's a game I don't want to play, I won't. And do I understand Japanese? Well, I didn't used to, but I started teaching myself Japanese, and that was actually going really well. And I say was because we're going to get to why it's not right now. I learned the alphabet, the hiragana, and the katakana, and a lot of words. I'm still working on that kind of thing. So I can read anything that's not in kanji. I won't necessarily know what it's saying, but I can read out the syllables and that kind of thing. But there's a lot of words. Sorry, I just smacked the mic. There's a lot of words, obviously, that I haven't learned yet. So there's a comprehension issue. And then grammar is very difficult. It's very different from English. So that's something I'm still working on. But the reason it's really kind of halted is if you don't have somebody to talk to, using a language, it's very hard to learn. I mean, it's hard enough to teach yourself a language, and I feel pretty successful just in as far as I've gotten, but without having somebody to talk to actually practice and use the language, it's very, very difficult. And then the kanji itself is very difficult to learn. So those two roadblocks are kind of in my way right now, and hopefully someday I figure out a way around that. But as of now, it's very minimal, my Japanese. Mr. Anime asks, what kind of background or backdrop do I use? What's the material made of? Is it poster board, green screen, bed sheet? Is it just a wall? I'd really like to know. And he finishes off the question. Thanks for the support. It used to be poster board. Well, okay, first of all, it used to be a cloth, the black cloth. You guys probably remember that if you've been around for a while. Then I started using poster boards, and I didn't really like how that was going. And then I changed my setup completely, and now I have this screen, which is actually an old projector screen. It's a really large projector screen, so I can pull it down and it'll roll back up and whatever like that. So that's what I use. Bed sheet, don't recommend it. I did use a bed sheet for a little while just for my videos when it was all black, but I didn't like the all black look. I mean, it was kind of cool to have like that infinite black, but I didn't like that. Anyway, that used to be a bed sheet. I've never used green screen. I did a couple of times just for fun to see if I could, but I didn't have a real green screen, so it didn't work that well. Nope, this is just a projector screen. They're kind of expensive, but it works for me because it's big enough for me to do this kind of video and for my reviews now, and it's off-white, slightly gray, which people like, as far as I can tell, instead of solid white or solid black, so that's what I use, and it works well. It probably should be white for as being a projector screen, but it's old, and they made it gray, slightly gray. Or maybe they do it on purpose. I don't know. Chili Willy 1, nice username. That's fun to say. Does anyone sell the ratchet joints for Play Arts Kai? Any videos on repairs for these when you customize pack figures? Do you have any pointers? All pointers and customizing tutorial type videos are on my Patreon account. Patreon.com/AnthonysCustoms. None of that stuff is on here for various reasons, but you can check it out there. And no one sells those joints as far as I know. You have to steal them from other figures. So, good luck. Mark, I said your name the other time in another video and I messed it up. I'm going to mess it up again. Lepore. I want to say that's what it is. Lepore. Yeah, I don't remember. He says, do I have a preference when choosing figures to review, like movie, TV show, games, that you like more quality figures, reputation of the company, etc.? I know you can't get every figure that comes out, so what is the determining factor in how you choose what to get? Well, I have to buy everything for the most part that I review, so it has to be something I want. I don't buy things just for review sake, so it's things I want in my collection. And then lately I've had a viewer who's been sending me boxes of figures that are from his collection that he said I can borrow to review. So like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure figures, for instance, I'll review those and then send them back. So if people send me stuff, here's the thing though, in order for me to do that, I can't pay for the shipping, which sounds weird, but let me explain. If I'm paying for the shipping both ways of things to review, I'm essentially paying to do the reviews, which means I'm paying instead of earning for my primary source of income. So that doesn't work. He happens to be willing to pay shipping both ways, which is more than generous and awesome, obviously. So that's great. I get to review stuff and he's covering the costs and you guys get the reviews. So works out for everybody. So that's awesome. But that's it. I basically just choose what I want in my collection and I review it. Or if people send me stuff, I'll review that. That's the shorter version of that. Top 5 figures from all time from Troa Space 1. I don't know, but I'm doing top 10 videos in the near future. So maybe you'll find some insight in one of those. We'll see. Little Big Jojo asks, what stands would you recommend for pack figures such as the Revengeance Raiden? I know pack figures come with their own stands, but I don't want to destroy the box. Well, first of all, those stands suck, so don't bother opening that anyway. I would suggest you get the doll stands that you can find at craft stores. They're not going to be the most useful for dynamic posing, but they will be helpful for keeping your figure from taking a shelf dive. That would be the way to go. And we'll do one more because this one ran way too long. Sorry about that. Arthur Chen says he's very interested in my education/job history. He knows it's a personal question, but he doesn't think he's the only person that's ever wondered what an established reviewer customizer like you plan to do and did for a day job before going full-time. That is a fair question, and it's one that I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I did go to college, a private school, and paid a lot of money for a degree, which I got the degree. I graduated with honors. I did a little bit of work in that field, part-time. Wasn't able to land a full-time job doing it because the job market where I live is total crap. And I know it's like an excuse everybody says, but somebody who graduates with a degree from a prestigious school with honors should be able to get a job. And I couldn't. Long story short, I decided to continue doing what I was doing and just to devote all my time to this. And so I decided to do this full time. Make a lot less money. Well, I wouldn't have made that much anyway in that particular field. But I don't make a lot of money, but I love what I do. So it works out well enough. And I have a lot of debt, or at least I had a lot of debt from school. So that didn't work out. Good questions. Thanks for asking. I'll try to get more questions done in the near future. Don't ask any more for now. We still have way too many to go through. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.